Mourners gather in the deeper recesses of Namisando village in Kamuli district. They're here to lay to rest their son, Stuart Tabosiwa, in the desolate lands. At the tender age of 19, the life of Tabosiwa, a senior 6 vaquist of Busoga High School, came to a grinding halt as a result of an acute blood shortage in Chirudu Referral Hospital. On 30th January 2018. He had been hospitalized for 3 days with leukemia.
By the time we brought the blood, it was too late, it couldn't help him.
On that day when they came, they told us they had a relative who could donate O negative because we did not have it on the already screened and ready to issue units of blood. As a blood bank, as usual, we stepped in and got into our data bank and started calling our own donors.
But what exactly happened? When we first met Sandra Poni, a friend to the family of the deceased at Nakasero Blood Bank in Kampala, she cut a dejected and fallen figure as she roamed the compound of Nakasero Blood Bank. She had been on the phone since 2 a.m. looking for a potential blood donor to save Tabosiwa's life. Poni and 2 of her friends had camped at the blood bank because the hospital did not have the type of blood their patient needs.
Batugamba tugende tunoonya abantu abalina negative O badona nga tebaliiwo tetubonaabona nga tewali musaayi ne batugamba neni n'ekirala nga tulaba nti wabaddewo n'ebbula ly'omusaayi mu ggwanga ng'ebbula ly'omusaayi mu ggwanga nga kireetera n'eryo ne gurupu eyo y'omusaayi nga terabika so ne tunoonya ekyokukola ne kibula ndifunayo omuzira kisoomu omuwala ng'avudde eggayaaza najja n'atuwaayoko negative eyo omusaayi group eyo nendifunamu kapaka kamu ne tukatwala ntugira nga tukateeseko ku mulwadde.
They've been waiting at the blood bank for the last 18 hours for only 4 units of blood, equivalent to 2 liters of water.
Ne tugenda ne tuddayo e Nakasero mu blood bank ne tukaabira awo ne basalawo ne bakebera mu records zaabwe ne bayita ba donors ne bajja ku speed ne batuwa ku musaayi.
The only means of transport they had were these 2 motorcycles to transport the blood for a distance of 11 kilometers. They set out into a journey of the unknown, hoping that this little blood will offer a reprieve. While the recommended procedure is using properly equipped ambulances or recognized vehicles to transport blood, this is not usually the case for the ailing health sector fraught with underfunding.
The challenge with government hospitals, sometimes they don't even have transport to come and pick blood from here. But the private hospitals, they always come and they take blood.
According to Sandra, the doctor told them that if in 24 hours they've not found the blood, Tasubira will not survive because his hemoglobin level was very low. Whereas the normal hemoglobin count for men is 13.5 grams per deciliter, Stuart's hemoglobin count was now 2, a very critical level that the family still hoped would be reversed.
Gama ne twesanga nti ebbula ly'omusaayi tulinga tulowooza nti lyatuviiriddeko omuntu waffe okusanga nga atuuse kulaba nga obulamu bwe buvaawo.
The delay maybe in the delivery of this blood could have contributed, but delay of the blood is not in itself alone the cause of the death, because they were treating other ailments, they were treating other sicknesses, which I'm sure could have also worsened.
also found camped at the blood bank was Goreti Nancha, who urgently needed blood for her aunt, a situation which underpins the crisis across the country.
Kati, it's like zigenda kwera naku 5 nga tunoonya naye nga tetunakufuna. Up to now mbadde sinawakufuna. Waliwo ankubiddeko nangamba nyiza omufuna sanga 7, omulala nankubirako nangamba ayinza okujja sanga 10. Naye I don't know whether anaba akyali mulamu kubanga sisobola kuddayo nga sifunye. Kati hope yokka gye nnina bali babazze ne batuwa tuyinza omusevinga naye simanyi kubanga yasuze bubi nnyo takyasobola nakwogera.
Those fortunate to live another day have resorted to other means of survival. In the verdant slopes and undulating moors of Bundibuju district, the community in this remote backwater have adopted means to provide blood to patients as scarcity bites. Like in medieval times, they've resorted to scientifically unproven methods as a panacea to the blood shortage. These families give the patients guinea pig blood. Mixed with Coca-Cola as a substitute for blood. However, the acting medical superintendent of Bundibuju General Hospital, Dr. Amon Wambare, said this is very unhealthy.
Nimumuha abokuwa musobola kugenda mwiralo mbagamba omusayi busamu paka nka mutwara buhinga 40 ati eki nikirindo omwana kumwiha hano kuika kumutwara 40 orundi musango musayi gutaro hati eki kiba nkiakoraki nkikyayambaho.
Taking that blood from the guinea pig and it is going through the digestive system. We expect it to be digested by the acid of the stomach, and so it is just like any other food.
Stuart's sad story is a representation of an even bigger problem in this country. Why must somebody die because of lack of a liquid that we all possess? How many more lives must we lose because of shortage of blood? We sought to find out why there's a constant blood shortage in this country. In January this year, the country was hit by an acute blood shortage. Consequently, there's been a surge in donations, especially at the regional blood bank. An empty shelf is all we could see when we visited the blood bank nearly 3 weeks ago.
We keep our reagents on this other side.
However, the blood troughs are now full with stocks. When we visited the blood bank on Tuesday, there were over 2,000 units of blood in the bank's cold room. And yet these units of blood had not been screened by 12:30 p.m. This means that the blood could not be used for transfusion until this process is carried out. According to Uganda Blood Transfusion Services officials, the bank is supposed to release a maximum of 1,000 units a day. However, they are only able to screen less than half of what is required.
Today we are screening about 400. So by the end of the day we should have 400 units ready.
The capacity of the machines we are using also matters. So we cannot load more than what they can take.
Why can't you upgrade?
Of course, that is what we are planning to have.
It takes about 45 minutes to screen 1 unit of blood. Blood is again screened when it gets to the hospital before it is administered to a patient. The blood bank estimates that Mulago Hospital alone requires about 400 units of blood a day. Bombo Army Barracks 50 units and Kawempe 200 units. This means that other hospitals like Chibuli and other regional referral hospitals will not receive any units of blood due to the delays in the blood screening process. Even with deaths recorded in some hospitals due to lack of blood, the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services Executive Director, Dr. Dorothy Chaine, says the crisis has been contained.
The appeal has yielded positive results. We are now no longer in a crisis. We have blood.
According to blood bank officials, the Eastern region has the highest percentage of blood transfusions.
There's a lot of poverty, then we end up with a lot of anemia. If the children are not feeding well, you'll have anemia. If we have a lot of malaria, mosquitoes, then we also end up with a lot of malaria, especially among the children.
Blood groups are also key in transfusions. Unfortunately, most people are not aware of their blood groups.
In Uganda, we have over 50% who are blood group O. Then about 20-something group A, 20-something group B, and AB is the smallest with about 3%.
However, in times of a blood shortage, as is of now, patients with a rhesus negative, that is A-, B- and O- suffer the most.
Our blood donors donate every 3 months for the men. For the females, they donate every 4 months. So if you have donated today, your negative rhesus group, the chances are that you have to donate after 4 months or after 3 months for the men. So you can imagine with this type of rhesus, the negative rhesus is where the population that have it is that very, very small.
In Uganda, we have over 50% who are blood group O. Then about 20-something group A, 20-something group B, and AB is the smallest with about 3%.
We are discussing with NILA, the National Identification Team, such that every national, when he's getting an ID, the ID has a blood group.
There are 7 regional blood banks in the country. These include Arua, Gulu, Mbale, Kampala, Masaka, Mbarara, and Fort Portal. The blood bank has also set up collection centers in different parts of the country. These include Rukunjiri, Kawale, Masaka, Jinja, Soroti, and Lira. In the remote Karamoja sub-region, there isn't any blood bank or collection center. Blood is airlifted to Moroto on some days. Each year, blood levels dwindle in the collection centers for several reasons, as Michael Mkundane, the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services spokesperson, explains.
Somebody says, no, Ogwange mufu, I can't donate. You try to convince the person and mufu in the car. Others say, so that kind of phobia also does affect the rate at which people can respond to give blood.
So what I wanted to ask you is, do you think that stigmatization, especially, how many times have you been donating blood?
It's now 82.
Nagugaba kulu muna yebyo kunyabe bagaba ne bakuwaka soda akatidibwe kati ngogaba bado omusayi gogo nago no akasoda nange kensobola okwegulira akolo 10 bongeze ku byokunywa omuntu agabe ku musayi ogutegerekeka.
Yeah, we have presented our budgets to the government and we have suggested a variety. Maybe we can have milk for our blood donors. Maybe we can have some juices for our donors. But you also see that if you are giving things like soda, you had somebody who was asking for muchomo and beer, you may not sustain it.
Omuntu wonga abadde afunye oba accident ngeyo ba mulwadde n'otwala kaadi eyo gye baakuwa osobola basobola okumuwa omusaayi ku bwereere.
Ansigabanga ku musaayi. Tangabisa musaayi ekisooka ti nali ndwazizaako omuntu nga talimu musaayi naye ate we nayagala omusaayi nga ndinakagundi tebakitwala nga kikulu era nawaayo sente.
Bannayuganda bannaffe mujje bannange mugabe omusaayi. Abantu muli eyo temumanyi nti okugaba omusaayi kirungi naye tugabe omusaayi kulaba tubeere n'omusaayi ogumala mu ggwanga lyaffe.
Do not wait for crisis. Continue to donate blood on a regular basis because we need blood every day.
Blood is donated freely and is given freely. Whether it's a private hospital, whether it is a government hospital.
The largest recipients of blood are largely children suffering from malaria at 60%, while 30% are mothers with complications of pregnancy and childbirths. Accident victims, cancer and surgical patients make up 10%. 70% of those who donate are mainly students. It's no wonder that during school holidays, the blood shortage crisis shoots through the roof.
People are busy, beating, they are doing work, and they are like, I'm Funirawa, blood bank. So that kind of feeling is what we want to take out of the people's minds. And we instill in a culture of voluntarism, humanitarianism, and generosity.
The other challenge, perhaps, is the blood's shelf life, which means that it cannot be kept for long.
So even if you got 1 million units today, by 35 days, they are not of any use. And that means every other day you must go collect and replenish the blood banks.
In the last 3 years, annual blood collections were far below the World Health Organization's recommended 300,000 units annual blood collection. Underfunding to the health sector works towards the detriment of blood collection. It costs approximately $40, approximately 144,000 shillings, to have a unit of blood delivered to a patient. This means that for every 2 liters of blood that a patient gets, the blood bank will have spent at least $160, approximately 600,000 shillings, a cost the blood bank says is astronomically high.
So if you were to collect 300,000 of blood. That is about $1.2 million. And so if you are getting 19, then it can't work.
The withdrawal of the United States President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, or PEPFAR, resulted into an 8 billion shillings reduction towards the blood bank's daily operations. The 8 billion shillings majorly catered for fuel, field vehicle maintenance, allowances of field staff, gloves and other blood equipment.
The ministry has been very supportive. Ministry of Health is working with Ministry of Finance. They have promised to provide all the funds we need. So this is no longer a problem.
How much did you need again?
We needed 12 billion, and the ministry is in the process of releasing this money.
In a series of tweets on 17th January 2018, and against the backdrop of these aid cuts, the U.S. Ambassador to Uganda, Deborah Malak, implored the government of Uganda to invest more in health. The ambassador tweeted, and I quote, "The government of Uganda was fully aware that U.S. government funding for Uganda blood transfusion services would end in September 2017, after many years of investment. While the government of Uganda is proposing health budget cuts, the U.S. government invests approximately $500 million annually in Uganda's health sector. To keep Uganda's population healthy with vital services like Uganda blood transfusion services, the government of Uganda must invest more. A modest budget that the blood bank requires is about 60 billion shillings annually. However, out of these funds, the blood bank only received a paltry 11 billion shillings last year. No one from the Health Ministry was available to respond to specific questions I had in regard to this story. However, earlier on in January, this is what State Minister for Health, Sarah Pendi, told me about underfunding in the blood bank.
But of course, it's not true that government has done nothing, because some 3-4 years ago, the budget of Uganda blood transfusion services, government of Uganda funding was just at about 3 billion or so. So if you look at the last financial year alone, government actually supported UBTS with about 14 billion shillings. And of course, this year, certainly we believe that the same will apply.
The Abuja Declaration requires governments in Africa that are signatories to the treaty to at least allocate 15% of their budgets to the health sector. Last year, Uganda's health budget was sliced further from 8% to 5% in austerity measures to realign an economy in a tailspin. Yet, with fiscal prudence, including reduction of wasteful expenditure on workshops and travels abroad, the government can adequately fund the critical blood bank sector, which will save lives. Shadan Wuchiri, NTV Panorama.